My friends, how are you? I normally start these videos off with, "It's great to see you for yet another video." And while it is great to see you, it is not great to be in a position where I have to make these videos. Because I got to be honest with you, my friends. Every day we wake up in an America that is worse than it was the day before. Everything just keeps getting worse and worse here in this country. And I had, like everybody else in America that has their head on straight right now, did what millions of Americans did last night. Lay in bed wishing I could go to sleep while anxiety took over all my thoughts and kept me awake. And I sat there wondering just how in the hell all of this has happened to America. And we've got a lot to cover today, my friends, because every day this country just gets a little bit worse. And actually, overnight last night, it got a lot worse as the big, beautiful bill has passed through the Senate and is back to Congress to be negotiated and voted on over there. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But I go through this and I think about everything that's led up to this point, and I just have to wonder, how in the hell did America end up here? And my friends, I don't want to be here necessarily making these videos. If I was running a YouTube channel, I'd rather be doing something fun, but pranks, practical jokes, gaming. I used to do a trucking vlog, but now I have to be involved in a fight with a fascist in America, which is something that should not have happened. And my friends, I want to tell you sort of part of the story why I originally got involved in this fight to begin with, was because I was watching as my daughters were becoming adults, and I was watching as America was stripping their rights away from them. Reproductive rights, healthcare to women, as women were dying all over the country because they couldn't get healthcare they needed, because healthcare had been outlawed in this country, my friends, when it came to women. We had a bunch of dipshit Americans that were taking their anger on women out on them all over the internet and all over anywhere they could say the absolute bullshit that was coming out of their mouth, referring to women that needed medical care having to do with a pregnancy as whores and sluts and every other thing you could imagine, my friends. And that was one of the things that drove me to make this channel. Because I didn't spend my life raising daughters so that they could grow up in a world where they were controlled by men and told what to do, told if they can and cannot have babies, told to get over there and make some dinner, make sure those dishes are done, and told they couldn't live an independent life of their own. Because contrary to popular belief of a lot of Americans, well, it turns out that women are people too. And I didn't think I'd live in an America where that was something we even had to debate anymore. And that's one of the things that drove me to creating this channel. And I had to start paying attention to politics more and trying to understand what's going on in this world. And my friends, I wish that I was just an oblivious trucker that was just out there driving around paying no mind whatsoever to politics. I miss when politics were fucking boring in this country and it wasn't being taken over by a fascist and his band of billionaires that want to see nothing more than Americans become slaves to them and do their bidding while they rack up more and more billions of dollars based on off of our backs, off of the work we've done. And you would think that's bad enough, right? It's bad enough that they want to take rights away from women. It's bad enough that they want to take your money from you while they continue to stack up more billions of dollars. But it gets worse than that. We've got billions of dipshit Americans that are cheering for this, saying that this is what they want, and they're getting what they're voting for, and they're so excited to see rights stripped from women. They're so excited to see the gay and transgender community vilified to the point of violence against them in this country. They're so happy to see a brown person in this country with legal status being detained by ICE, thrown on the ground, sent to an El Salvador concentration camp, treated like they're not human anymore, because I guess they think at the end of the line, it's all going to work out for them. Never mind that these willing dipshits that are going along with fascism in this country, at the end of the day, if it ever gets to where the billionaire overlords of this country want it to be, they will just be the foot soldiers, the people that get the scraps that the billionaires throw away. Their quality of life will have degraded to a point they won't even recognize it anymore. But they stand there with their stupid fucking red hats on and they cheer for this to happen to America, which was once regarded as the greatest country in the world. I don't know that I've ever believed that, and I'm starting to get to the point. Well, I've been at this point for a while, my friends. It was all fucking propaganda. Every bit of it. A lot of that's why I got involved in this, why I started speaking up, because what this country really needed, in my very fucking humble opinion, was a redneck-looking fucking blue-collar working truck driver to speak up and say the shit isn't fucking right. Because I've watched it my entire blue-collar working life, and not to mislead anyone, I've done some white-collar shit too. I've worked in the IT field, I've sat in cubicles and meetings and all that bullshit too. But I've watched as the blue-collar world just lined up for this shit to suck the tit of billionaires and bow down and do what they're told, all while acting like they were big, manly, masculine men, and they were all falling in line doing what they were told. And I felt that it was important to finally speak up. And with that, my friends, I don't know if you can see the concern in my eyes, but don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. We fight till the end. And every day it feels like we get a little bit closer to the end. But we have watched this country just completely go to hell on us almost overnight. The big beautiful bill has passed the Senate. This is a murder bill. This is going to kill millions of Americans by throwing them off of their Medicare and Medicaid, their SNAP benefits, everything you can imagine. And it's all done to funnel money to the billionaires in this country because they just don't have enough. And it gets even more frightening than that, because when you realize that all they want is us for profit so that they can, profit off of our labor, off our backs, you realize that these killings that are coming are possibly, most likely, intentional. It doesn't do any good for the billionaires to keep around people that they feel can't pull their weight in this country. They are intentionally cleaning out the people in this country that they consider to be undesirable or not able to contribute to their master plans of them getting more and more fucking money, my friends. And I know I've gotten a little bit out of order on my thoughts on this video, because I wanted to sort of go through the list of sort of the things that have happened since Donald Trump has taken office. And you guys know that I do these videos unscripted. I don't write down bullet points or anything like that. So I'll just try to do this off the top of my head. One of the first things Donald Trump did was basically go to economic war with all the countries all over the world, including our allies. And I know through the course of this channel, I've made quite a few Canadian friends, and sometimes I feel bad and sometimes I get pissed off too, because a lot of Canadians come to me. A lot of them are very friendly and they understand I'm on their side, and they understand that I cannot believe what Donald Trump is doing to their country also. But a lot of Canadians are very fucking angry right now. And a lot of Canadians, rightfully so, are looking for the first American they can find to take it out on and express their fucking anger towards all of America. And believe me, I understand that. I do. I want the Canadians that come here pissed off at me to know I do not support this shit. This is absolute fucking insanity. But the fact that Donald Trump has taken to vilifying the fucking country of Canada is the most shocking thing. Not the most shocking, unfortunately, but a damn shocking thing that I never expected to see. I gotta be honest with you, my friends. I've never really thought that much about Canada, and I don't mean that in a negative way. Canada's always just kind of minded its business, never really been, in my lifetime, been problematic. Maybe there was a time that Canadians were fucking crazy and raising hell. I don't fucking know. But in my lifetime, my biggest grievance with Canada in my entire lifetime was why they put the fucking goalpost in the wrong place in the Canadian Football League. Why the fuck's that shit sitting in the middle of the end zone? It goes in the back. Canadians, get your shit together. That's what drove me fucking nuts about Canada. It wasn't enough for me to consider them my fucking enemy. I promise you that. To the point that now Canadians fucking hate America, and they're justified in doing so, my friends. It's fucking insane. America has become so weakened by Donald Trump's economic policy and so isolated from the world that we don't have a chance at economic survival in this country anymore. It's fucking over. If you don't believe me, the numbers are fucking real. While the billionaire bootlickers are probably running all over my comment section right now, talking about how they voted for this and Donald Trump is doing the greatest thing ever, we had 1 quarter so far of a negative GDP, or what I like to say, because it makes me giggle, is GDP shrinkage, because There was a time in my life where things felt funny. Maybe tomorrow I'll be in a funny mood again. I don't really fucking know. But GDP shrinkage, and we are 100% headed for that happening yet again. The supply chain is broken as we have at least 30% tariff rates on fucking everything. Americans were losing their jobs over it. Probably, well, still are losing their jobs. You know why? Because the June job numbers just came out, and Fox News about had a goddamn heart attack as they were reporting on them live. As 30,000 jobs were lost in America in June, and this is just the start of it. This is going to be a domino effect. The numbers will be greater next month. That is my prediction. Is this making America great again? We have now jacked up the prices of consumer goods on everyday Americans. We have now isolated ourselves from every other country in the world that just straight up does not want to do business with us anymore. Jobs are down. Job losses are up. There is, I'm just barely getting into this part of it, but I'm hearing of reports of food rotting in fields now because the farmers can't find the work. We're headed for a food shortage in this fucking country. And the people with the balls to come and tell me that this is great, this is what they voted for, have their heads so far up their fucking asses, my friends, I can't stand it anymore. Nothing that Donald Trump has done has improved America. Nothing. And after Donald Trump used Elon Musk to win his election, Donald Trump has... My head hurts. My head hurts, my friends. I don't even know where I was going with that. I'm not really fucking sure where I was going with that. You'll have to excuse me. Please don't click off the video as I try to recollect my thoughts to everything that's going on. We've isolated ourselves, and we've allowed it to happen at the hands of one man that I don't know the reason that he thought he was going to bully the world into fucking submission and they were all going to do what he wanted with no clear indicator of what he even wanted. He makes up shit about fentanyl coming in over the border from Canada, and that's why we're starting these trade wars, which is not true. There's a very small amount. It's not the problem that he says it is. It's overwhelming, my friends, to think about all of this that is happening. But before I waste too much more of your time, I want to say that Lisa Murkowski can go to hell. There was a time not that long ago where I kind of went in on Lisa Murkowski because she was doing a, I don't know, a rally, fucking town hall, whatever she was doing, where she stood in front of her constituents and she explained that everybody's scared, including her. And she feels afraid to stand up. She feels afraid to use her voice, where I called for her resignation. I said, if you're too scared to do this fucking job, resign. Because what America needs is people that are going to stand up to Donald Trump right now, regardless of if you're a Republican or Democrat. And I was not amused by an elected official saying they were too fucking scared to do their job. And I put out that video calling for her resignation. And I was quickly corrected, or I thought I was corrected, by people that told me that Lisa Murkowski has stood up to Donald Trump multiple times and I need to look into that. And I did. And I came back the next day and I said, you know what? I was maybe wrong about that. Maybe I'll cut Lisa Murkowski a little bit of slack. And then she came back and she proved me fucking wrong on that and made me eat my words, because Lisa Murkowski has now sold out the American people. She voted yes on the big, beautiful bill, and she said that it was no good after she voted on it. She said she does not support it. She understands the harm it does to the American people. This may not be verbatim what she said, but she kicked the can down the road and said she hopes Congress does the right thing when she had the opportunity to do the right thing. Lisa Murkowski, resign. Leave. This isn't for you. If you're not brave enough to stand up and you're asking for somebody else to do the very same fucking job that you could have done, why are you here? Why are you fucking here? And let's not get confused about what this big, beautiful bill is. I know I said it earlier in the video, but this bill is intentionally designed to kill Americans that the Trump administration, our billionaire overlords, feel like cannot carry their weight in this country. And he views them as people that are just dragging him down because the money that the government would save, I guess, is too much to ask. This is the same administration that was okay with starving poor children in other countries, and as far as I understand, has cut off funding for food in schools in America. That may have been a Doge initiative. Listen, correct me in the comments if I'm not understanding that. We'll starve American children. We'll fucking starve children overseas. We'll kill your grandmother because they're not pulling their weight. And now this shit goes to Congress, my friends, where I do not see this not passing. Now, I don't know. I'm learning government as I go. If it goes back to Congress and it's voted on as is the bill officially passed at that point? Does it become law? Or does it have to go back to Senate again at that point? I don't think it really does. But if something gets changed, amended, whatever, modified, what have you, I believe it has to go back to Senate again. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But what we're watching is a bunch of cowards that said they were going to stand up for this country, all of them kicking the can down the road. That's what I think the strategy is right now, is they're going to make these modifications, these changes, so it has to go to the other branch of government, and somebody somewhere is going to eventually have to take the fall for this, have to take the blame if it passes or does not pass. And we don't have strong fucking government officials that are going to stand up and do the right thing for the American people because they're afraid of Donald Trump, my friends. That's where the fuck we're at. It's disappointing. It's disappointing to say the least. But I guess the entire premise of this video is just when we think it's going to, like, this is as bad as it's going to get, Donald Trump and his regime find a way to fucking make it worse. This is not as bad as it's going to get. This is fucking horrifying, the things they are doing, and it's still not as bad as it's going to get. We are watching as the institutions fall. The courts fall in line and do what Donald Trump tells him. They were supposed to be a check and balance on the presidency, and they fall in line and do what they're told. We watch as these fake tough guy Republicans stand up and they say, I ain't voting for this bill. I'm not fucking doing it. I stand against this bill. And then they vote for the fucking thing. And I do wonder if we do have free and fair elections in this country. I do not know. Because there used to be a time when you would see a president do something bad, a party do something bad, and you would say, we're going to get their asses in the midterms for this. They are going to get wiped out in the fucking midterms for what they've done. And we know Elon Musk was fucking around in some way or another with our elections, which I feel like the Republicans felt like that was their ace in the hole. They could get away with whatever they wanted. They had Elon on their side, and now they fucking don't. I don't know. The world's all upside down. So I do not know if we have free and fair elections in this country. I do not know if we're going to make it to the midterms as more and more things become illegal in this country. Speaking out against Donald Trump is going to be illegal here soon, and we know that to be fact. Donald Trump has attacked the media over and over to the point of suing them. There was somebody detained by Customs or ICE or whatever for having a funny JD Vance meme on their phone, and they were sent back to their country for having a meme on their phone, my friends. Can you fucking believe that? And it's only a matter of time before they silence us on social media at the rate that we're going, before YouTube, TikTok, all these things come under attack. Donald Trump's heavily involved in TikTok for some fucking reason or another, and that's only a matter of time before TikTok, you're not allowed to speak out against Donald Trump. America has fallen, my friends, as far as I can tell. This is not the America we were promised. This is, there is no freedom left, even if you're on Donald Trump's side. He will strip those from you also. And like I said, we wake up every day where America is worse than it was the day before. And as I said earlier, we've got millions of dipshits that are going along with this, saying that this is what they wanted. They wanted fascism because they're fucking babies that need to be told what to do in their life. They have no idea what to do unless they have a dictator telling them what to do. And that's exactly what they wanted, in my opinion, my friends. They want to be told what to do because it beats the shit out of making decisions for yourself. Anyways, as I'm sure you've gathered, this video had no real direction. It was just a fucking therapy session for me, as I had a lot that I wanted to get off my chest. With that said, keep up the fight, my friends. Hopefully we can pull through this. Love you guys. Bye now.